Well, we see the Oswego County Marine Patrol. The sheriff is out there today, and we are getting ready to travel on really what looks to be a beautiful day, heading out of Brewerton at Ess-Kay Yards. And really don't know exactly where we're going to stay, but we're trying to aim for the town of Fulton. If Rev goes, ah! So I don't know if we'll stay before Lock 2 on the Oswego or after Lock 2. Or if we'll go a little further, but we are strategically trying to, cross the southeast part of Lake Ontario at the best time for waves, and so that looks to be like Monday afternoon, heading up to Sackett's Harbor. So we're going to kill a couple days to do that, and we're going to go. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is I just got back from the ER. Oh, the engine room. Okay, not the ER, the hospital, but we had some maintenance done on the boat. I had a gentleman here, a mechanic by the name of Ethan, help me with a couple things that I needed help with. And one of the things I do is, particularly after working in the engine room, is look around. Hey, are there any tools or anything? And guess what I left down there? A hat right on top of the battery bank. And so kind of look around. You look for certain things down there, but just kind of look around for things that may be strange. One of the other things that we found while Ethan was doing some work in there was a tool that a previous mechanic had left behind. Tools and those types of things, general condition of the engine room, make sure you know where, maybe the hat wasn't going to be a big deal down there where it was, but you don't want things laying around where they shouldn't be down in the engine room. So we've got that done. We've done the planning for this route, and let me tell you a little bit about the planning for this route is, I use the Navionics auto routing function on my Android phone, and it drew a great route. And then when it went into active captain, it basically stopped at 250 points or 249 points or whatever it was. So when I looked at it on my chart plotter, it's like, well, that's short of where we're going. And those planning software tools have limitations, and I've seen this once before. Now, it's a real short route. It's only 20 miles, but the challenge with this route is it's going around a number of turns and, bends in the river, and it created a number of points. So what I did then was, once I noticed that, and you have to kind of catch it, because one time on a trip somewhere, I didn't catch it, and I thought I was looking at the time that we're going to get there, and it wasn't making sense. And then finally I caught it underway and did the replanning. But you want to catch those things. So the way around that was I planned auto routing from this location to the Three Rivers Junction, which is essentially the end of the eastern Erie Canal. And from there we will enter and make a turn to the starboard and go north on the Oswego Canal. So I programmed it to that point, and then from that point beyond, and broke it up into two small routes. So we'll have to do a route change. Once we're en route, it's not a big deal. It's a wide open area there, and plenty of navigation buoys along there. So a note to you as you do some of your planning. Today, we'll go through a couple of locks today. One is the last lock on the Erie Canal, and so I've kind of looked at that for Rev to be aware, is that it's a 7-foot drop. Remember, we're going down now in elevation, and actually from, I think it's lock from Three Rivers, where we will end the eastern Erie Canal, 363 feet above mean sea level, down to 245 feet above mean sea level. So a drop of some 115, 18 feet, if you can do math on that. And from there, we will go into Lock 1 and maybe go through Lock 2. We're going to talk to the lockmaster, because that is Fulton, and whether or not we tie up before the lock overnight or after we go in through the lock, on the other side, we'll see which way works best. It's a Saturday. It may be a little busier than normal, but I don't expect there's going to be a lot of transient traffic. We haven't seen a lot of transient traffic at this time of the year. So planning on a wall tie-up somewhere tonight in the town of Fulton, so we can kind of explore that. Along the way, we'll also point out some places that you may want to consider. One is Pirates Cove, where we spent a month last year. The boat spent a month last year while we went home. Great little marina run by a family there, and it's just a fabulous place. And they have a restaurant on site as well. And then the town of Phoenix has a free dock as well. That's just as you go north in the Oswego. A little bit about the Oswego Canal. It was built after the Erie Canal was started, but in 1826 to 1828, 2 years to build that stretch. And originally it had 18 locks, and it was about 4 feet deep. Today there are 7 locks, numbered 1 through 8, with no lock 4. They originally planned to have lock 4, but then decided not to, and say, well, why didn't they renumber them? I guess they already had the signs made at that time. I don't know, but it went from 18 locks to 7 locks, and it's all going down. Rev, the first one that we'll go through is lock 1, and that is a 10-foot drop, and it has ropes and cables on it. And then if we do go through lock 2, that's an 18-foot drop, and according to the information that I have, just cables on that particular lock. But again, we're going to be talking about whether we're going to stay before the lock or after the lock walls there, depending on what the lockmaster recommends. So that's really our...
What's the situation of the last Erie lock? Is it ropes?
The last Erie lock is just rope, a 7-foot drop. Yeah, and that's just a couple miles up the road here. We'll go through lock 23, so we'll be ready for that. So, New York Canal system, this is getting to be late in the season here. We're at the end of September, and I noticed a number of alerts, and I've talked to you about that before, as you can sign up on the New York Canal system for alerts for the Erie Canal, the Oswego Canal, whatever canals you're going through. And we noticed a number of the locks were shut down, then they reopened up, a couple minutes later. So they're very timely on that, letting boats know so that you get that email instantly. So as you're going along and you have, cell phone capability, whatever, it will come to you either. I think you can set it up for cell phone or in email. And then lock 17, that big lock at Little Falls, that went down as well for maintenance or some mechanical thing, but came up about 30 minutes later. So they're very timely on that. So we checked the phone today, nothing of note on there. So I think we're about ready to go. And Rev, do you have any questions about today?
Nope.
Okay, and so getting out of here, we were tied on the port side, and so I think we're about ready to go ahead and cast off and head up to Fulton.